to Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Larry.
Hi, I'm Jesi.
I'm Sara.
And I'm Josh. Something that I was looking to do was incorporate more contemporary poetry into the mix and bring about some recognition of poets that aren't necessarily familiar to the academics, but Poetry Magazine has featured poetry for, and there's other outlets like the Favorite New Poets had collections. But the poem that we're going to be talking about today is from a poet named Hailey Leithauser, and it's called Bad Sheep. And it's pretty interesting, to say the very least. And the discussion starter I have for this one is why call this poem Bad Sheep and not refer to another animal or subject?
I think, well, through the poem, she's trying to refer to a black sheep. That's what I got out of it. So I guess she wanted to put a little spin on the word instead of saying black sheep, saying bad sheep.
There's a lot. You can spin this in so many ways as if there's a few figure eights, because with bad sheep and black sheep, she refers to the color black time and time again with words, and not just black, but black, chalky, murky, with fligginess, swart, scoriac, fligginess, atramentous, and picceus, all of which refer to something that is black, dark, murky, sooty, and then attached to that refer to death, and on top of that refer to drug issues, which there are many references to. You have a few, there's a reference to nicotine and coke, which cocaine addiction.
Indeed.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of took it as, and I don't know how this kind of relates to the title. I took the whole poem as, things are happening, but I'm still me. Just kind of going back to the line here, but I stay under skin true to ebony ink, crowberry pitch. I don't know, I just kind of took that as, inside, I'm staying the same even though all these bad things around me are happening. So
I don't know. I guess if you call a bad sheep, because a sheep refers to somebody that is the ultimate follower.
Mm-hmm.
A sheep is somebody that conforms. And if somebody is still remaining themselves despite being a follower on the exterior, that in itself makes your argument valid. But
yeah, I was gonna say I'm not sure how it relates to the title. I was just kind of like, as I read through it a few times, that's what I got out of it.
I saw bad sheep in more of the fact that somebody's making bad choices as a sheep, because you have the
Maybe following the wrong crowd?
Yes, the wrong crowd. The fact that you have the renowned rock stars and your people like, I don't know if cocaine was their drug of choice, the different, like your Kurt Cobains and River Phoenixes and then your 27 Club, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Winehouse. The idea that if they're going to follow that path, they can become renowned in their own way, not realizing that they're going to become renowned as martyrs. And a martyr is somebody that dies because of their beliefs. In many cases it's religious, but it's also been taken in the way of entertainment. People consider JFK to be a martyr in the political sense. because he gave a political sense of visionary ecstasy.
Yeah, there's a definition too that kind of includes the idea that through dying there's more that something comes of it. But that's more in the religious sense, and then, like with JFK, I would say that's kind of why people use that word with him, because he kind of lives on in a way.
It's like have you heard of the Dion song, Abraham, Martin, and John?
Yeah.
It's a late 60s song that really martyrizes the three figures. There's so many ways you can look at them, though, but Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, and John F. Kennedy they all had a connection with one another in the way that they were. They freed people and died in their quest for doing so.
Yes.
So.
Not that that's totally irrelevant here.
It's not, but yeah, we're
Kind of
digressing.
tangent on martyrdom.
Well, what I got of it was just this sheep, whoever it may be, if it's human or a real sheep, that just they feel like they're so evil and dark and bad. There's no changing them whatsoever. They're just so dark down to the core, and it's hard to tell if are they indifferent about this? Do they not care? Do they want to become better? But it feels like they're hopeless, and there's nothing they can do to feel better. And they say how like hands pallid as snow, like how just clean the hands are, and you put your hand through the wool and it'll just be covered in
I don't see a black sheep as necessarily evil, though.
I don't
because
either.
a black
Yeah.
sheep, I feel, is someone that's different.
Yeah,
And
that's,
if different means evil, then
that's why I'm
that's where it
confused,
is.
because I'm not connecting the title with what I'm getting from the poem.
That's kind of how I felt too. I was just like, oh, I couldn't see the name of the poem really fitting anywhere in the poem other than it just being a sheep.
Yeah, that's exactly
I was
what
like,
I was
okay.
Because a black sheep is someone who stands out and then is almost like they're the odd member of the group and they're almost like ostracized just for being a black sheep.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. You think there's much else to say?
There's a sense of There's a sense of insatiability, I'd say, in there. And talking about the itch and how you scratch and scratch and scratch and at the itch. So to me, I think it's kind of a reference to maybe the sinful nature or whatever you want to call it.
I think there was I have an article here by it was from Poetry Daily. It was written by, I'll leave a link down below to the name because when I printed this I cut it off. But otherwise they made reference to the fact that the repetition of words such as scratch, 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 and earlier in the poem, but me, refers to the ba, ba, ba of the sheep. And the conformity is very evident in how a sheep can easily be conformed by a sense of repetition and taglines, as we saw in many of the political campaigns in 2016. The Make America Great Again, 1%, the got to take back our country. So
I'm with her.
yeah, it's but that was more so that was a tagline that they created about Hillary. And as much as I wasn't a Hillary fan, I feel that she never made mention to that. She did make mention to other things that got people riled up. But we'll continue.
Yeah, I'm not sure. where you're going with the political taglines, like what?
The fact that there are often political followers that can be described as being sheep,
Oh, sure.
where an easy way to attract people of this nature is to produce a tagline and just keep saying it, keep repeating the same thing over and over, as opposed to actually discuss your ideas. And people become immersed in the gobbledygook of what somebody has to say. But that's another digression to the poem itself. But in the connection comes in the connection within the poem is the fact that a sheep refers to a follower, and a bad sheep is either, as Jesi said, somebody that doesn't do a good job being a sheep, or a sheep in the figurative term, or somebody that is following the wrong crowd, which is very referential to cocaine inducers or drug addicts.
Yeah, I agree. And then, there's that addictive quality, right? Or that insatiability that kind of got us on the standard.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling of scratching the itch, but you can't get to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, she starts talking about like another point about that is talking about the burning, right? Like she mentions coal, and then she mentions something burning. I can't remember the exact word that she uses, but basically the idea that timbers, right? That they're
That's what a lot of
fire.
That's what a lot of people they find something to become addicted to in order to find that sense of ecstasy, which scratch, as in scratching at what they're trying to seek that happy moment, which some people are able to find, but the aftermath is almost always
it's just always fleeting anyway, and it just leads you closer to dying eventually.
Okay. Do we have any final thoughts?
Bad. Bad sheep.
Alrighty then. If you're you can find this poem in the collection from Bright Wolf Press called Swoop, but I found it in the April 2012 edition of Poetry Magazine, which includes this poem and plenty of others that look relatively interesting. One of them is called Horse Apocalypse. The Breeders' Cup. I guess there's got to be a horse. John Hancock's John Hancock. So I'll have to check this one out in its entirety. But be sure to join us next time for another episode of Literary Gladiators. For now, keep reading.